Roddy Piper is a legendary figure in the world of professional wrestling, known for his charisma, in-ring prowess, and iconic personality. Piper's in-ring character, Roddy Piper, is one of the most memorable and beloved characters in wrestling history. Known for his fiery temper, quick wit, and unpredictable behavior, Piper's charisma and energy captivated audiences and made him a fan favorite. His life was suddenly cut short by a terrible illness. Soon you will know everything. Roddy Piper, born Robert George Toombs, was a legendary figure in professional wrestling, known for his charismatic persona and razor-sharp wit. Born on April 17, 1954, in Saskatchewan, Canada, Piper began his wrestling career as a teenager, quickly making a name for himself with his tough demeanor and ability to rile up audiences. Piper's big break came in the 1980s when he joined the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE. He became one of the most iconic villains or heels in wrestling history. His rivalry with Hulk Hogan, which culminated in the first ever WrestleMania in 1985, solidified his status as a wrestling superstar. Piper's talk show segment, Piper's Pit, became a must-see part of WWF programming, where his quick wit and unpredictable behavior kept fans on edge. Although he was known primarily for his antics as a villain, Piper also enjoyed success as a fan favorite later in his career. He won numerous championships across various wrestling promotions, including the WWF Intercontinental Championship and the World Tag Team Championship. Outside of wrestling, Piper expanded his career into acting, most notably starring in the cult classic film They Live in 1988. His role as the lead character, who famously uttered the line, "I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum," became a significant part of pop culture. Piper passed away at the age of 61 from a heart attack in his sleep at his home in Hollywood, California. His death was met with an outpouring of grief from fans, fellow wrestlers, and the broader entertainment community, all of whom remembered him as one of the most colorful and influential figures in professional wrestling history. Piper's death was attributed to a cardiopulmonary arrest caused by hypertension. He had previously been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2006, but he had announced in November 2014 that he was cancer-free. Despite this, Piper's health had been a concern for many years, as he had endured a physically demanding career that included numerous injuries and health scares. The impact of Piper's death was immediate, with tributes pouring in from around the world. The WWE, where Piper spent much of his career, honored him with a special tribute on their programming. Wrestlers from various generations, including Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Triple H, shared their memories and expressed their sorrow at the loss of their friend and colleague. Piper's legacy as a wrestling pioneer, particularly in his role as a heel, villain, and his groundbreaking work with the Piper's Pit interview segment, was highlighted in many of these tributes. Fans and colleagues alike remembered him not just for his in-ring prowess, but for his ability to captivate audiences with his charisma, quick wit, and fearless approach to his character. Roddy Piper was survived by his wife Kitty and their 4 children, daughters Anastasia and Ariel, and sons Colt and Fallon. His family, while devastated by the loss, took comfort in the knowledge that Piper had left an indelible mark on the world of professional wrestling and entertainment. In the years since his death, Piper's influence has continued to be felt in the wrestling world. He was posthumously honored with a statue at WrestleMania Access in 2017, and his memory lives on through the countless fans and wrestlers who were inspired by his work. Roddy Piper's death marked the end of a remarkable life, but his legacy as one of wrestling's greatest icons remains intact. Known for his quick wit, sharp tongue, and explosive energy, Piper's career spanned several decades and left an indelible mark on the sport. Piper's wrestling career began at a young age when he started training as a wrestler in the late 1960s. He made his professional debut at just 15 years old, entering the ring with a bagpipe, hence the nickname Roddy Piper, which would stick with him throughout his career. Early in his career, Piper wrestled in various territories across North America, honing his skills and developing his persona. His natural charisma and ability to rile up crowds made him a standout performer wherever he went. Piper gained significant attention in the 1970s while working in the National Wrestling Alliance, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and California territories. During this time, he feuded with some of the biggest names in wrestling, including Nature Boy Ric Flair, and won several regional championships. Piper's unique blend of technical skill, brawling ability, and unmatched microphone work made him a must-see attraction. However, It was in the 1980s that Roddy Piper's career truly skyrocketed. He joined the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE, in 1984, and quickly became one of the company's top villains. Piper's Pit interview segment became legendary, providing a platform for his razor-sharp promos and creating some of the most memorable moments in wrestling history. His confrontations with stars like Superfly Jimmy Snuka, whom he infamously hit with a coconut, and Hulk Hogan were pivotal in building the WWF's mainstream success. Piper played a crucial role in the WWF's rock and wrestling era, which bridged the worlds of wrestling and pop culture. His feud with Hogan culminated in the main event of the first ever WrestleMania in 1985, where Piper teamed with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff against Hogan and Mr. T. This event is often credited with helping to establish WrestleMania as the premier wrestling event and launching the WWF into global prominence. Throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, Piper continued to be a top draw in the WWF, whether as a villain or a beloved anti-hero. He briefly left the WWF in the late 1980s to pursue an acting career, most notably starring in John Carpenter's cult classic film They Live in 1988. He returned to the WWF in the early 1990s, winning the Intercontinental Championship in 1992 and participating in high-profile matches at several WrestleManias. In 1996, Piper made a significant move to World Championship Wrestling, where he continued his rivalry with Hulk Hogan, who had become the leader of the villainous Muo faction. Piper's presence in WCW added star power to the company's burgeoning roster during the Monday Night Wars era. Although his in-ring appearances became less frequent, Piper remained a major figure in wrestling. Piper's influence extended beyond the ring as he became a mentor to younger wrestlers and continued to make sporadic appearances in WWE throughout the 2000s. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005, cementing his legacy as one of the all-time greats in professional wrestling. Roddy Piper's career was characterized by his ability to connect with audiences, whether as a hated villain or a beloved rebel. His contributions to the wrestling industry, particularly his work on the microphone and his larger-than-life persona, have left an enduring legacy. Piper's impact on professional wrestling is still felt today, and he is remembered as one of the most charismatic and entertaining performers in the history of the sport. One of the most controversial moments of Roddy Piper's career occurred at WrestleMania VI in 1990, where he faced Bad News Brown. Piper painted half of his body black to symbolize the split personality of his character. The act was intended to create controversy and intensify the feud with Brown, but it was widely criticized for its racial insensitivity. Piper later expressed regret over the incident, acknowledging it was a mistake. This incident is often cited as an example of the more politically controversial and incorrectly aspects of wrestling during that era. In the mid-1990s, Piper reignited his rivalry with Ric Flair in WCW. Their feud had roots dating back to their days in the NWA, and it was one of the highlights of WCW programming during the Monday Night Wars. Piper's battles with Flair, both in the ring and on the microphone, were a masterclass in wrestling psychology and storytelling. Their rivalry culminated in several high-profile matches, including a memorable steel cage match at Halloween Havoc 1997. Piper's ability to hold his own against one of wrestling's greatest talkers, and Flair further solidified his legendary status.